Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy Flor-Figueroa. I am an interpretive associate with the San Francisco Bay Wildlife Society, and we are here tuning in to you guys. We're going to be wrapping up Día de los Muertos. It's a Mexican holiday. It's typically celebrated from October 31st to November 1st. And today I have a special guest with me, our Refuge Ranger, Miguel Marquez. And here he is, he's gonna introduce.
Hello. Thank you, Tracy. Happy to be here. Like she said, my name is Miguel Marquez. I am the Urban Refuge Ranger, San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge Complex. I am located at Don Edwards San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge in Fremont, California. And it's a 7 refuge. There are 7 refuges within the larger complex. And I'm located, like I said, in Fremont at Don Edwards. And my job is to connect our visitors to nature with outdoor recreation, giving interpretive programs and leading tours and attending a lot of outreach events and being visible in the public. So thank you, Tracy. Happy to be here on this beautiful day.
Yep, you are the face of our refuge, so it's great to have you today. We work very closely, the Wildlife Society works really close with the San Francisco Bay Complex. We support their outreach and education efforts, and of course, the conservation of those protected lands. So today, we're here in honor of Día de los Muertos. Miguel has a Mexican background. I have a Bolivian background that's down in South America. And we wanna connect Día de los Muertos, like our cultural background, with conservation. And we're gonna share our experience today with the holiday and also connect it back to wildlife conservation. So Miguel, you tell us about how you celebrate Día de los Muertos.
Yeah, so Dia de los Muertos, thank you, Tracy. It's really beautiful holiday. Growing up in a Mexican household, my dad is from Mexico, from Villanueva, Zacatecas. And my mom is a Mexican descent, born here in the United States, and up in Oakland, California. I know Dia de los Muertos was a time where we honor and highlight our ancestors and our loved ones who have passed. So throughout the house, my mom would have altars and just have simple altars with photos of my grandparents, photos of aunts and uncles, friends, comadres, tias and tios, even cousins who have passed. And she would have those posted either in the living room or the kitchen, and to remember them. And I remember there was always food, always beautiful colors and beautiful flowers, tamales. And it's really, although it is a holiday associated with death, it is also a very colorful cultural remembrance of their life. So we want to highlight their life and remember our deceased. So growing up, we would also go to the cemetery and bring food, bring flowers, and remember and honor our loved ones during this time of year.
Yeah. When I moved to the States, I never heard of Dia de los Muertos before, because we call it in Bolivia is Todos Santos, where it also starts like Dia de los Muertos on the 31st, and it ends on the 1st. And yes, definitely we celebrate our ancestors. And I think most of our focus is on the most recent who passed away. It's kind of a duty in the community to invite friends, family over to the house and celebrate that person's life, at least for the first 3 years after their death. Like, it's kind of expected.
Yeah.
don't do it. Like you will be shamed in the community. So
Yeah.
I remember like when my uncles passed away, there was like this one room that was designated like a altar, and everything was black. I don't know how they did the whole thing, but the whole thing was black. And then you guys have like the marigold, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the marigold, they would decorate a lot of altars with the marigold, and at the cemeteries. In Spanish, they call them the cempasúchil flower.
Yeah,
And the marigold is symbolic in my culture, the Mexican culture. It's symbolic where in Mexican cultures, they use a lot of the marigolds because of its bright colors, its pungent smell. They would go to the cemetery or have your altars in your home with these flowers because it was believed that it would guide the spirits and souls of our ancestors, and which is very symbolic too with the monarch butterfly, because the migratory path and the route, this incredible route that the butterfly takes from over 3,000 miles away into the highlands of Mexico during this same period of time. So yeah, beautiful flower, very symbolic.
pungent. Yeah.
So what about you? Do you guys, in your culture, have used those flowers as well?
We do. It actually, like the pattern is very similar. We call our flower ilusiones, but it's typically white.
Okay.
When I was talking to my mom, she said if the person is recently deceased and was never married, the flower is typically black.
Oh.
Like that's what they decorate the altar with. If it was someone who was a child, it was white.
Oh.
Like they call them angelito.
And in English, the orange flower is, of course, known as the marigold. So yeah, very, very symbolic. And, it's also, although Halloween and Dia de los Muertos are two separate holidays, the flower even kind of like matches the color, pumpkin? Right? Like a pumpkin and the orange Halloween type of. Yeah, and also another thing too.
How they mix the two.
Yeah, and another thing, one thing I remember growing up too, going to Fruitvale every year. Me and my three brothers, my mom, we lived on 40th Avenue, and Fruitvale was a few blocks. We would walk down to the large festival. They would block off Fruitvale Avenue, and there would be a big, a big celebration, a Dia de los Muertos celebration, the lives of our loved ones with these beautiful flowers, altars. And you also see a lot of the skulls, right? The calaveras and the catrinas, which you mentioned, the dark and black and the dark colors representing death, but these beautiful, elaborate face paintings, even like paint on cars and the altars have faces and decorated with colors, flowers, and just bringing life to death, and elevating the deceased. So a lot of good memories, and it's I feel like our cultures, overlap, right? Even though we're two different places, we still celebrate.
Yeah, the fact that we share that, celebrate the death in a very like the colorful theme, the music, food, because once you open your home up for people to come in and do prayers for the family member, the children, like, they sing for the family member, and when they complete their songs, the widow or widower or parents who lost the member, they give them like treats. And I think like that's kind of similar to like how, where you get treats for doing.
That's true.
So that was one thing I saw similar, like
the
States did, that we did.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. With the candy, right?
It was like, it looked like gingerbread men, but it was bread. That's the
Oh,
stuff that they gave us. Like once we completed our song, it was like these gingerbread men.
wow.
Gingerbread,
What
no, but just like a bread man.
was it
Like,
a shape as a person, like the actual?
yes,
So that's
yeah.
crazy you mentioned that because yeah, that reminded me like Pan de Muerto. They, during it's
Is
like
it the same?
Pan de Muerto, you go. I mean, you have to go early because they sell out. Fruitvale, Hayward, a lot of places around. So the bakeries, they'll have Pan de Muerto, and it's like a big. It's not shaped as a person, but it is
Yeah.
shaped like a big ball, and really good sweet bread. I had some. I had some last week. With my coffee in the morning. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I miss those sweets.
Yeah. So I'm glad, I'm so happy that you got on the call and said so we can talk about, our culture, uh,
Yeah.
this celebration, our holiday, bringing life
Mhm.
to the deceased and tying it into what we do, right? In our jobs.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of important to connect our culture with what we do here with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and we protect and conserve wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think culture and conservation should work together more, because
Mm-hmm.
that way we have a better understanding and kind of like feel for
Uh-huh.
the land, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, is connecting uh, culture and conservation and meshing them together. And that's what I feel like we're doing today, is
Mhm.
highlighting our culture, highlighting where we both came from and our careers in the green field and conservation field. So absolutely, I think it's important to really acknowledge that, our culture has been very connected to earth, connected to the land. Um, and for generations, and whether it be working, my dad, like I said, he's from Mexico, and yeah, they have a very, very close relationship with the land and the seasons as well, planting,
Mhm.
fishing, hunting. um, and now, me being in this conservation field, it's really, really important, and I love the work that we do. I love the work that the Fish and Wildlife Service does, for the public lands and for the public.
Yeah.
And I want to really just share my passion with others and encourage them to visit the wildlife refuge, to go and do wildlife recreation, and even like yourself in your uniform and what you do is important to show and highlight your culture. So it's a great day and it's a
Yes.
great holiday to do that today. So thank you.
Yeah, no, this holiday really connect, because we have what, like, we connect with the flowers, we connect. I know you said that the butterfly is a good symbol
Yeah.
for Los Muertos, so there is that wildlife connection with this holiday, and I think it's a good thing to point that out. Um,
Hmm.
our mission is to protect and conserve that wildlife that is endangered, and two of there's there are two main species, like in Don Edwards, that we're trying to protect, right? The California ridge-raised rail and
Uh-huh.
the salt marsh harvest mouse. Those are
Hmm.
key species, and we want to conserve this land not just for those species that are endangered, but also for the public. It's their own. We're like, it's their land as well
Yeah.
to enjoy, to recreate at. So
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. As we definitely work with our partners to conserve and protect the habitat, um,
mhm.
along with the wildlife, and tying in the butterfly with the flower, you have the habitat and the wildlife. They both need each other, along with other species across the globe. So yes, absolutely. At Don Edwards, we definitely have those species that we really, really want to protect and create and protect their habitat. But you brought up a good point, and it's really for the benefit of the species, but also for the public, because
Yeah.
I have so much joy looking at birds. So by seeing the birds flourish and be happy and flutter around, that makes me happy. So you mentioned outdoor recreation, even just to go to the refuge and just listen to the refuge. It doesn't sound like my neighborhood, like in my apartment, or screeching of the tires, or the the honking of the horns of the cars, or the sirens in my neighborhood. Like, going to the refuge is a really peaceful place, and I'm so happy that our friends group and the service protects these places. So yeah, it's definitely a really happy to be here, and I support our mission for sure.
Yes. Speaking of, like, even though like we do have these endangered species, there are species that are no longer with us. And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, and it's yeah, it's sad, right? It's
mm,
to think about, this holiday, and how I know myself, I honor the deceased family members, but we also have family members that are feathered, scaly, and four-legged, right? Our pets. I know
yeah.
somebody's abuelita had that little chihuahua that was always biting my ankles,
Yeah.
but RIP to the chihuahua. And now, like, people do honor their pets during Dia de los Muertos as well. Some of the calaveras that you'll see, of images of dogs or their cats or their skeleton bird. Um,
I've seen that.
but you mentioned, the species that are no longer with us. Like, this is a good opportunity to highlight those species. For example, the California flag. We have that beautiful grizzly bear on the California flag. However, there are no grizzly bears in the wild in California because they are gone, they are lost. You also have the beautiful recovery story of the California condor, beautiful, beautiful bird, that was almost lost, that was almost extinct, nowhere to be seen again. But thankfully, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and some zoos and organizations started a recovery program, a breeding recovery program, so we can really enjoy, and I can be happy all inside when I see these birds. Haven't seen one yet. I plan on going down to Southern California to see one, but
They
yes,
have the longest wingspan of like any bird.
I
Like
believe it's like 11 feet, right?
yeah, it's
Huge.
bigger than 6 feet. It's like most
Huge.
humans are.
Yeah,
The
and
tallest they could be is like 6 feet something. So
yeah,
imagine losing that.
yeah, so sad. It would be. So yeah, we want to highlight, bring light to the species that we've lost. We want to highlight, our pets, endangered and threatened species. Let's bring awareness to those species and those wildlife that we love. Large mammals, small fish, even birds. So it's a great way, Tracy. I'm glad that it's a great way to bring the culture and conservation and to highlight this in a beautiful, colorful way.
Yes, I think this is like the perfect kind of cultural reference.
Mm-hmm.
At least like for me, for you, because we grew up really trying to remember our past members and embracing their lives. So why not do it for the wildlife?
Yeah.
We're currently protecting or is no longer here. So.
And you know what, Tracy, when you just mentioned something that made me get the inside, because we all, well, I don't know, I can't say all, but it's universal. Family is pretty universal worldwide.
Yeah.
Family crosses many cultures. I think that's something that really we have in common with all humans worldwide is family. Extended family, immediate family. Some of your friends you consider family. So when honoring and loving and feeling for my family, now I'm also feeling the same way for the animals that I love, because I do love these animals. And now it's like I'm honoring these animals and highlighting and loving these species that we protect. So
yeah, and the land. You really could like
absolutely.
anyone who's been to Don Edwards and like has seen that colorful mosaic of
Yeah.
oh my God, you really
Yeah.
with that part of the land, and you
Yeah.
don't want that to like no longer exist.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, this has been great. I'm, I really am proud and prideful and proud to wear this uniform and to be able to work with our friends group like you all at the San Francisco Bay Wildlife Society, and really partner with you guys and to continue supporting wildlife protection, habitat protection, and to do things like this today, and really tie in and reach a larger audience and connect culture and conservation. I look forward to doing art projects and maybe doing in-person projects when the time is right, surrounding these holidays. So I'm happy.
Yes.
And I believe you have some stuff coming up that you've been working on. So tell us about that.
All right. So I don't want the like, there you go. It might go backwards, but we prepared a packet that we'll be posting in the Don Edwards and the Salinas River National Wildlife Refuge sites. And it talks a little bit about the holiday and also highlights some key species. We highlighted the western snowy plover and the Smith blue the Smith blue butterfly, which is an endangered species at our most southern refuge. And then you can have fun like coloring in your own mask.
That's cool.
And wearing it.
I have a mask of Salty. Hope I'm not scaring everyone, but yeah, this is my my rated mask that Tracy created, and I colored it up. So really just tying in wildlife conservation, wildlife awareness with this beautiful, vibrant, colorful holiday. So you guys can make your own masks at home, tape them to your windows, and run around the house wearing these masks. Yes. Where would these be posted, Tracy?
They're going to be posted at the Don Edwards San Francisco website, and then also Salinas River National Wildlife Refuge website. And then
awesome.
We like put the link up with the YouTube video, so definitely go check it out, try it, color it, learn a little bit about Dia de los Muertos and connecting it with conservation.
Cool, perfect.
No, thank you again for like
doing this
with me. And like that background, that painting, so beautiful, the colors.
Yeah, no, this was a great time and a good opportunity. I was happy to see the flowers behind you and the and really just connect with you and talk about and open up about our culture and what we do. So thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Hopefully we see you again at another segment with our refuge ranger, Miguel.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.